We're finally at the end of our countdown for the top 100 comic book villains of all time. Now, after a lot of deliberation, we settled on Magneto as our #1 pick. Now, clearly some of you guys are going to question our judgment in this matter. So what we've done is we've gathered some of the editors around the office, and they're going to talk about what makes Magneto such a great villain.
The thing I think that makes Magneto such a great villain is basically that he's a very human character. You understand why the things that he does are perceived as evil, because they come across as, just mean things in the context of humanity. But he always has a purpose for what he's doing. And just because he's at cross purposes with the X-Men and other heroes makes him villainous, but you can identify with him as a character.
I remember the first Magneto story I ever read, or story with Magneto I should say, was Secret Wars #1. And that was a big plot point in that, was that the Beyonder had split the heroes and villains into different sides, and Magneto had been put with the heroes, and they couldn't figure out why at first, and they realized, well, it's because what he wants, his goals, are seen as sort of noble. And I know that some people might say, well, hey, that makes him not a great villain, but that is what makes him a great villain, is that he has got such a righteousness behind what he wants to do and what he wants to accomplish. And he's coming from, a basic place that you would say, yes, this man has a point, what he's fighting for is just, but the way he's doing it is what makes him a villain, because he's going to go to such extreme lengths. He's outright murdered people, he's murdered innocent people, certainly, in the quest of something that is good, but it's definitely the thing of when do you lose sight of what you're fighting for if you're willing to sacrifice that much to accomplish it.
As a kid, reading Marvel Comics, you always read about how everybody in the Marvel Universe really feared Magneto and thought he was just this badass villain, and it wasn't until later in life that I actually understood why. And for me personally, it was the fact, I think, that deep down inside, he was a good guy, if that makes any sense. He always had kind of the best intentions for mutant kind behind all of his evil and twisted machinations, if you will. But he actually, at one time, replaced Professor Xavier as the mentor of the X-Men and as the headmaster of Xavier's school. So for a period of time, he was a good guy, but it was the fact that he could, snap on a dime like that and just do something so horrific and so evil that, to me, makes him the #1 villain of all time.
But Magneto is always interesting because you can play with that a little bit. You can have him take over for Xavier for a while and run the mansion and be the mentor to the X-Men. And the idea is, of course, it's going to ultimately fail because what he wants to do and his take on things is not going to work well with the X-Men in the long run. But it is interesting to see that, he is this mirror image of Xavier. He's the man who's going to, go to this extreme violent length Xavier would never go to, and sort of see, well, what would it be like if he took over the X-Men for a little while?
It was an Uncanny X-Men issue back in the 80s, and it was when Pryde was new to the team, and Magneto had taken out the whole team, and Kitty was the only person left, and she kind of made a jump at him, and he grabbed her, and I don't know what he did, if he zapped her with magnetism or he shocked her or something, but it was right when she was phasing, so it knocked her out, but it didn't kill her, but it freaked him out so much because all of a sudden he's holding her in his arms. He thinks she's dead. She's so young, and it messed with his mind. It was like, oh my God, what have I done? What have I become? That moment, that imagery from those panels really stands out in my head.
So now that you've seen our top comic book villain, be sure to let us know what yours is. Head to our written article and sound off in the comments thread, and we'll see you guys next time.